In three, two, one. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kilowatt. My name is Bodie, and I am your host. Like I said, I don't do introductions very well, but
You're
I
doing
have a
great.
guest host, a very understanding guest host, Jessica Kirsh. Jessica, thank you very much for being on the show, and welcome to Kilowatt.
Thank you for having me.
So we I don't know, we had like an hour-long conversation before the show.
Mhm.
So hopefully, as we go through this, we'll be able to restate those really epic and profound thoughts that we shared with each other before the show. That
Epic.
were, yeah, they were amazing,
So good.
so amazing.
Stand by for awesomeness.
You know what? I will say this publicly in front of God and everybody. You're a delightful person to talk to, very easy to chat with. So
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to doing this. You want
Thank
to talk
you.
about the Lucid Air?
Let's do it.
Okay. This morning I got an email from Lucid Motors touting their mid-range 406 projected mile range Lucid Motors or Lucid Air. It's got 480 horsepower, single motor or dual motor if you want to pay a little bit more money. DC fast charging. If you put down $300 right now, you will get 3 years of free charging from Electrify America. So all you have to do is commit to buying a $77,400 vehicle with a $300 reservation, and you'll be able to drive 406 projected miles. Pretty. It seems like a lot of money, and $300. It seems like a weird reservation number. Like, why not just say
Yeah.
$100?
Or why is it not 500 or
Oh,
1,000?
that's a very good point.
You
So,
know?
what are your we chatted about this a little bit, and you're familiar with Lucid. So, what are your thoughts on Lucid in general, and then what are your thoughts on this new mid-range tier?
Lucid is a very exciting company. It's always good to have another competitor in the EV space. So it's very exciting to have their factory here in Arizona in Casa Grande or Casa Grande, I like to
Yeah,
say. Other people don't. Um, I'm excited about them. I think that their unveil of the is it you said the platinum? What was their top of the line? Or
yeah, that's the Dream Edition
the
for one hundred and
dream
seventy
the
thousand dollars.
dream edition, because that's all it would be for me is a dream. um,
Many people.
that was really cool to see and uh, very fantasy-esque, but the fact that it's starting at 77.4, that is a little bit more affordable, but it's a luxury sedan.
Yeah, I mean, in the world of EVs, you have to adjust what your idea of affordable is. You know, in many cases, most people wouldn't find a $37,500 Model 3 affordable. So, I mean, we're working on a scale, I guess.
Mhm. My theory is it's better to overprice them and come down than underprice them and go up, you know?
That's a good point because remember last summer Tesla was having some pricing issues, and they were
Mhm.
one week it would be down, next week it would be up.
Yeah. Oh,
I think they
yeah.
made a lot of people frustrated at the very least, especially when you bought it at the high number and
Yes.
then they reduced
Yeah,
it and they wouldn't reduce the price.
right. I would be very frustrated if I paid a lot more money and then it was lowered but on the other side of that, it's like a sale. It went on sale, you know, special, Black Friday edition but
Yeah, it's like a sale from the company that says, no, we're going to price this the same, and everybody pays the same price.
yeah,
That's, I
that
think, what
doesn't
leaves
that
the
doesn't
taste.
yeah.
We
On
bought.
that same topic, the
Go ahead.
Cybertruck as a reservation holder,
Yes.
uh, what did he announce the price was?
We're looking at the one that I picked out is the 50,000 mid tier, but the base price 40,000.
40,000, that's right. Do you think that he'll meet that?
It kind of sounds like it with the 4680 battery that
Mhm.
sounds like they're and the whole way that they're gonna construct that, it sounds like they'll be able to come close. I don't have any idea what it costs to build a car. I don't even really know what components are in a car. Like, I have to have somebody change my I know how to change my own oil, but
Mhm.
honestly, it's not a good idea for me to do it.
It's not very
So,
fun,
well,
I'll
it's
be honest.
it's not very fun. I went to say a friend of mine was a mechanic, and I worked with him, and he was like, "Let's just change your brakes out. I'll save you a ton of money." I was like, "Okay, cool." So we changed my brakes out, and then we drive my wife and kid, and we drive to Monterey.
Uh-huh.
We're cruising around Monterey. Somebody pulls me over, and I'm expected like somebody's like flashing their lights, and I was like, "Did I do something to cut this person off? Are we gonna go?" Like, I don't like to. I'm not a fighter.
Mhm.
I was like, "Is this gonna go really poorly for us?" And he's like, "Your car's on fire." When I got out of the car, because I got out of the car fast, like I was like, this guy is not going to catch me unaware. So I got out of the car
Oh
fast
my
and aggressive, and
gosh.
he's like, "Your car's on fire," and I was like, "Oh, thank you very much, I appreciate that." And the brakes that we had changed, one of the brakes had hung up. So this thing that cost probably $100, $150 initially ended up costing me over $1,000 to fix the messed up, brake. So after that, I'm just like, it's just cheaper to pay somebody else to do it because I don't
Mm.
have the skills.
Oh my
And,
gosh.
I don't blame my
Wow.
friend, because, whatever, maybe we made a mistake, maybe we didn't. Maybe it was just a default
Fluke.
part. But yeah, but yeah, I was like, after that, I was like, I'm just not going to do this anymore. I
Yeah.
can't. The saving the money isn't worth it
Right.
because I wasted 2 days of my vacation sitting around a brake shop waiting for those guys to get done.
Oof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and on top of that, it was a Volkswagen, so everything's more expensive when you're
Oh,
driving.
yeah. I had a Jetta.
Me too.
Yeah. I loved it. Um, it was a lease. When I turned it in, I was really sad. I was crying, I remember. But now I have my Kona, and I've done 3 oil changes on my own with it, and the very first one, I had a friend walk me through it he was on FaceTime and in North Carolina, and he walked me through it, got down to, like, almost the very end, and then or it was the second time, excuse me. Second time I was doing it at a friend's, and I didn't realize that you could pour too much oil in a
Mm.
car, and I filmed it. I did it I filmed it, posted it on YouTube, and one of my subscribers thankfully was like, "Hey, you might wanna go have some of that oil extracted," because I was like, "I'm just gonna pour until it starts bubbling up."
Of course not.
So, thankfully, as far as I know, there wasn't any lasting damage, but thankfully for YouTube and somebody actually watching it to the end of the video.
Yeah, you know what? As much as people make fun of those who can't, like myself, I've actually um, my real job is an engineer on a ladder truck, a,
Mhm,
a fire truck. So I've actually like tilted the cab of the fire truck to do my inspection, and
mhm.
I found oil like literally in the windshield wiper fluid. Like
Yeah,
somebody didn't pay attention where
everywhere.
they were putting the oil, so
Yeah.
they just put it inside the windshield wiper container.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Like,
and there's like a little trap door that you can open up and so you can fill that stuff up. So I'm just guessing they weren't paying attention where they put the funnel and they just filled up the windshield wiper container.
that's no bueno.
Yeah, with like half a gallon of oil. I was like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do with this.
Was
So
it like a weird mix of washer fluid and oil?
yeah, but there was no washer fluid in it either.
Oh my god.
It was just oil. It was like the whole thing was filled with oil. So I don't know if it was one of our new move ups who those are people
Oof.
who are allowed to drive that, but I have no idea what the whole process was, but it was very funny when I
That's an
did that.
interesting find. That's a
Yeah.
nugget right there.
It
Hmm.
yeah, it was I don't know. We do stupid stuff like that all the time, but it's easy to do. I'm sure the
Mm.
person knew that they shouldn't be putting oil in the wiper fluid, but here we are.
Here we are.
Do you wanna talk about something really controversial?
Sure.
Okay. I like
I
that.
will say I will speak up if I'm not okay with it.
Okay. So the new Model 3, or excuse me, the 2021 Model 3 has a new look. And according to my non scientific research, half the people love it, half the people hate it, and half the people are indifferent. So did you get to see the pictures?
I did not. I did not see the pictures.
It is a matte finish instead of the shiny piano black finish.
Ooh.
And
Okay. Alright.
in
Yeah,
the console area. So let me pull that up for you.
in the console. Okay.
And I will send you the thing in the chat. But yeah,
Okay.
so last week we talked about this as kind of a follow up, how Tesla was doing some updates to the Model 3. Currently, if you buy a Model 3, you're going to get that piano shiny finish. I don't know what
Mhm.
it's necessarily called, but
Fingerprint finish, you mean?
well, I have 8-year-olds, and even though
Yeah.
my 8-year-olds don't come up to the front of the car, they will figure out how to put fingerprints everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I just cleaned out my car yesterday, and I was just like, "How did these things get in here?"
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a person
So,
who touches everything, so I would have elbow prints all over it. Let's see.
yeah, yeah, no, even our 24-year-old Sierra, the kid,
Yeah.
she could have chocolate in her hands, and she's touching everything. Like
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
I don't know why you would
It's
you
an
would.
explore with your fingers. Just saying. Just saying. I'm a
Yeah, no,
tactile learner, as a visual learner. I don't know.
same.
Oh, okay.
So,
I
I think it's a
love
good look.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's not shocking to me. I was expecting maybe like a checkerboard or something like crazy controversial. No, I love it.
No, it's very understated, and
Yeah,
I really like
simplistic.
in the Model Y, and I don't know about the Model 3, but in the Model Y that we got the other day, when you open up the little console area,
Mhm,
there's like a you just push down, but it's at the front of the car,
mhm,
so it opens towards you,
mhm.
and then it kind of hides, so it's not like it's in the way, but it's a very weird spot. This one, the way to open up that console area is closer to where the cup holders are, which feels like it would be more natural to open it that way. But I think this is a really good look. But
So
Twitter, on the other hand, has different opinions.
Twitter was I saw back and forth going, but normally if it's something specific to a particular vehicle, Tesla vehicle, I kind of tune it out just because 'cause I'm not an owner, and it's not particularly relevant for me at that time. Like, the stock price, I like to hear about, and, new and upcoming things, but if it's like the center console, mer is this f so this whole design is different, or is it just a matte finish rather than a chrome or
It looks
shiny?
like, based on the pictures, it's a little different than what was offered previous, but I think
Mhm.
it's just like an incremental improvement type thing. I don't think
Yeah,
it's I can look up my
I think
notes from last week, but I think there was something more about like there was going to be a heated charger port in the Model 3 like there is in the Model Y. So folks in
heated charger.
colder climates can charge their vehicle without ice being around the charging port.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, no, it's really smart. Really smart. Um, pulling it up.
I would expect changes, you know, at how well, the Model 3 was released 20 was it
I think
2013
2018. Oh, no, no, you're right.
2014?
2017.
Uh,
That is model. I think they were pushing them out the summer of
27
2017.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's really not been around for all that long. Um, I like it. It's minimalistic. What else, the inside of a Tesla is completely minimalistic.
Yeah.
Uh, with everything else, people something's new or different, it takes acclamation for some. For example, the solo car. I don't love it. It's not for everyone, but I could see once they start driving around, people will be like, "Oh, yeah, I like that." Same with the Cybertruck. People
Yeah.
were indifferent or loved or hated it. Now everyone has accepted. Not everyone.
Yeah. So even the Solo, for those that don't know, is a three-wheel vehicle, two wheels in the front, one in the back, and there's only enough space for one person to sit in it. And it's a really cool looking car, but it's also it also looks like something or feels like something that if you were to get hit by a sizable vehicle,
Gone.
they're not going to find you.
No, crushed.
I mean, and then I don't
Mhm.
want to be morbid, but I've literally cut people away, dead people away from cars.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's all I see when I see that car. It's a beautiful car. I want it to succeed.
Mhm.
But when I see that car, I'm like, like, sometimes you, it from that standpoint, I don't want to be too morbid because
No, that's actually a
what's
really
normal for
great
us
statement.
doesn't translate well to regular folk. But it's a horrific experience to cut somebody away from a car, not cut somebody out of a car because that's a different. Cut somebody away from a car, like unmolding the car from the person. It's that's all I see when I see the Solo. And I also see a really beautiful car, but
Yeah.
I take it too dark.
No, no,
No, I see your
no,
face.
I'm glad that you said that because, having visited it the other day, my biggest concern was that it has no airbags, and there's not much protecting you at all, and, the leg space is really great. I'm 5'10", so, I fit, but you get hit, and it's like, my legs are gone. Not only my legs, but I probably won't survive. It's you registered as a motorcycle in the
Correct.
United
Yeah.
States.
It's not even
Um,
good, so they don't have to have any of that stuff.
no, uh, that's my biggest concern, and then you saying that, think about on the highway and, Arizona drivers
Yeah.
just
The
in and out of lanes, not looking, just texting and driving, you know? I'm not
no,
perfect. I'm
it's very
guilty
common
of it
in Arizona
sometimes. Yeah.
to have somebody who's driving 70 some miles an hour and you look over and they are looking down and not at the road.
And in the center of the lane next to them, or
Yeah.
like the on the line. It's like,
Or
choose a
somebody
lane.
has approximately 15 feet to get over 4 lanes of traffic in
Oh
busy,
gosh. And brrr,
in rush hour traffic, and they do. They
and
just
they do it. Yeah, they do it.
yeah,
They don't care if you're going 70, they just brrr.
nope.
Gotta
They
have
don't
those
care. But
brakes
yeah, yeah,
or autopilot.
or autopilot.
That's the dream.
So I looked up what the other features of the Model 3 were.
Mhm.
So the option for Chrome Delete, this is according to rumors. So powered trunk gate, which the Model 3 doesn't have, which
That's
I
interesting.
think would be really nice for some updated upholstery, that matte center console that we talked about,
Mhm.
and then double insulated pane windows to reduce road noise. So I think
Okay.
those are all good upgrades
Those are great
or updates.
upgrades. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the white interior?
Love it.
It looks
Every
so good, doesn't it?
there, you shouldn't have any other interior.
Sexy. However,
Gone.
dark jeans, you gotta have a towel.
Really?
Yeah, the dye transfer.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't wear jeans, so I don't know that.
Oh,
Yeah, well, it's in
you're
Arizona. I just
missing
wear shorts constantly. Do you think it would just be dark shorts, or is it specific to jeans?
it anything that has dye in it. Um,
Oh no.
I've read that. Yeah, in any kind of dirt. I'm a hiker, a biker, not really a biker, more of a hiker, rock climber, and when I get in my car, I'm sweaty and dirty, and I would be taking Magic Clean Eraser to it, like, every other day. But it's
Yeah,
beautiful. I mean,
yeah.
drool emoji, beautiful.
If you can't tell, but Jessica is like literally slobbering on camera.
Slobbering, like the yeah, it's running down my face. It's so sexy.
It is. I didn't think about that. And I have two kids, and I'd heard that in general the seats hold up really well.
Mhm.
However, you can't. It's not the seat's fault that dye gets transferred to it
Mm-mm.
at all.
Nope.
That's concerning because I don't
I
want black
mean,
seats in Arizona.
right, and that was my first thought too, but the black seats are also $1,000 more, I believe.
White seats are $1,000 more.
I'm pretty sure it's not. Is it? Look it
The
up.
the the white paint is now the standard, and that used to be $1,000 more. I'll look it up though.
Yeah, look it up. Because I remember being like, why would that be?
Let's build a Model 3.
Build a Model 3. Yeah.
So we're gonna order
I
now.
haven't built one in a long time. Maybe I'll build one alongside you.
I'm gonna choose the standard range plus because I am price sensitive. So the exterior is the white paint's included, the arrow wheels, which I don't love the arrow wheels if I'm
I
being
think they're
honest.
ugly. I think they
Yeah,
look cheap. They look
but I
like
also
hubcaps.
yeah no they're disgusting. But on the
Yeah,
other side, I also don't want to. Um, I don't want to pay another $1,500 for
of
fancy
course
wheels
not.
and then more expensive tires. So I'll just
Right,
figure out
of
how to
course
take
not.
that plastic thing off and put something else on.
Let's see here. Gosh,
So
their
when you
website's
select interior, it is $1,000 for the white.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Wow. Okay, I was wrong.
that's okay.
I thought
I'm
it
wrong
was
about a
very
lot of things.
strange that it would be that way.
Al-
$1,000 for the white.
Also, if you go to the site, you can see the piano finish
Let's see
better
here.
for the Model 3. Yeah, I honestly don't think
Oh,
that
yeah,
that's strong.
no. Mm-mm. No.
Yeah,
Here's
right.
why. We live in the desert.
Yeah,
That's it.
no,
That's all you have to say.
yeah. If you
Desert,
live in a place that
dust.
isn't the desert, you can have your house completely sealed up. You can
Yeah,
change the filters in your air conditioner, and you're
mhm,
still gonna have a crap ton of dust in your house.
like once a
There's
week. Yeah,
no way around it. It's
mhm.
just happens.
Everywhere.
Yeah,
Everywhere. Every crevice, my keyboard, like, I'm blowing it off all the time. It's insane.
yeah. We have these things called haboobs. If you
Oh,
don't know, it's a giant dust storm that goes up hundreds, if not thousands, of feet in the air, and it's a wall of dust that encapsulates the entire city or
apoc
metropolitan area.
yeah, it's not it's apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where our house is now, not to give too much information away, but where our house is now, it's close to where the 101 is. So the haboob will come up the 101
Yep.
because there's nothing there to stop it. It comes straight up the 101 and
Oh, yeah.
dumps dust in my house, in my backyard, in my house,
Oh, yeah.
on
And then
top
you're
of my roof.
breathing it, and
Mhm.
not that there's a lot of upsides by Arizona, but the desert dust, yeah, no, that gloss finish, no, thank you.
Yeah,
Mm-mm. Nope.
I'm on your side.
I now understand why is it Tasmanian and a bunch of other third-party accessory companies sell center console wraps.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I think it do you know Nick Howard?
Yeah,
I think he
Black
did some
Lives
wraps
Matter.
on his. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's such a sweet guy.
he's so
Um,
sweet.
yeah, so I think he wrapped his on his new Tesla that he just
Yeah,
got.
good for him. That's
Yeah.
cool. Hmm.
All right. Well, that was not as controversial as I thought. I'm glad we're in agreement on the matte finish.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to talk about something maybe just as controversial?
Yes.
Spoiler: none of these things are that controversial.
Okay. You build it up, the
I
anticipation. I'm
know.
like, yeah.
My yeah. I have in real life, I have a very forthright way of talking about things that doesn't go so well, translate so well on podcasts, and occasionally I'll slip into that, and then I'll get taken down a notch or three. Like I literally said, I don't care about Tesla's stock price, which I don't, because this is not a stock um, podcast. This is a technology podcast about
Mhm.
Tesla, and I've received more emails about that one comment than any other. I have received an email like 2 or 3 days ago about that comment, and that was said months ago. And you know what? I'm not going to say anybody's wrong because
Right.
everybody's entitled to their opinion. But I was like, oh, gotta rein that stuff in. Gotta rein it in.
I
But I like having
mean,
the discussion, so it's okay.
having a YouTube channel. Do you post this on YouTube?
I don't, because I don't want to deal with people.
What are you doing, Bodie? Yeah, here's the thing.
Right. Go ahead.
Everyone has, not everyone. My theory on the internet is it's a place where people come for subconscious therapy.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll have comments on my videos, that are completely just ridiculous. I mean, in my opinion, uh, completely unrelated to the video, like just they'll take something about me or my outfit or whatever and just, and I just have to remind myself they had a bad day and I'm the punching bag. And that's
Yeah.
not my problem. You know, I'm just doing me, Jessica Kirsh, and it's their choice to come to my channel. I'm not, you know, like clickbaiting people. Like it's their choice to be there. And so with the comment section over time, I've learned that if somebody says something negative, I will like the comment, okay? And then I'll say, "Thank you for your comment," or "Thank you for your feedback," with the emoji, like, thank you hands. And then they'll like my comment, and then they'll subscribe because they just wanted to be
Yeah.
heard. It's,
Yeah.
like, they just wanna be heard, and I get that. That's why I'm on YouTube. I wanna be heard, you know?
For sure. And to clarify, I absolutely have. I welcome people holding me accountable and even sharing their opinions that aren't mine, because we live in a world today where you can't share your feelings without being shouted down if it's unpopular. I don't think
Right.
that's right. So I am totally okay with it. And I've only had maybe two actual emails that were just like, you are absolute garbage. And to that, I just respond back to, hey, I'm new at this. I have a stutter and I'm an introvert. I'm sorry that it didn't work out for you. And then usually those people will say, oh, I'll give it another try.
There we
So
go. They
yeah, but everybody else, it's all done out of. I think I try to keep a very family oriented podcast, not like so much family friendly, but like everybody's a part of this. We're all part of this good big community, and that's where I
yeah.
look at it. And it doesn't matter if you're on YouTube, but we're a part of this EV community that
Yes.
we love so much, and so there's a lot to get to bind us together. So
Mhm.
when somebody emails me and they have a different opinion, that doesn't none of that bothers me. And even if they email me and they tell me I'm wrong, none of that bothers me. I just don't want to open up the floodgates of the YouTube comments, because
Mm,
I will most likely never read them because I don't
right.
care.
Or you
And
won't even know.
yeah,
But I mean, unless somebody sends you a link like, "Hey," but in my opinion, you don't seem like the kind of person that someone would be like, "Oh, that was wrong," like, "Rah, rah,"
oh no, you'd be surprised, and it's
in my
okay.
opinion.
Like it, I love I wouldn't say heated, but I love talking to people that I don't agree with, because
Discussion.
it is
It's
discussion, and I
discussion.
learn things. Even
Yeah.
if I don't agree at the end, I learn tons. So if you have something you want to say to me, please say it. everybody, not Jessica, or if you do, you can.
Well, think
But
about
go ahead.
yeah, we're really good at interrupting one another.
No, I think we might be professionals.
What?
Professionals at interrupting one another.
Oh, yeah. Pros.
Yeah, pros.
Interrupting pro. I can see that being a new microphone name here shortly. But think about Elon and how much, you're crazy, like, never gonna happen, blah, 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 he had to deal with in order to push all of his companies forward, but specifically Tesla. Think about it, you know? All of
Oh
the
yeah,
differences in opinion, the oil industry will never go out, like, all of that. I just
and to
love
be
it.
clear, Elon is crazy. Like,
Well,
I mean, he's
genius.
very smart, and
I'm
it comes
crazy.
across to normal people or us folks that maybe aren't quite as smart as being out there or crazy. But he does have his moments where you're like, "What the hell are you thinking,
Yeah,
dude? I
yeah.
don't understand." But on the other side, like
It's
everybody, and this is what I tried to say about everyone in the world, whether you're talking about Donald Trump or and you hate him or you love him or whatever, whoever you're discussing, like everybody's a person.
yeah,
Everybody has good points and bad points. Some people's points or attributes are better than others, but
in your
there's no
opinion.
pure evil person. Yeah, I mean, you take two people and you look at one specific. You take two different people and look at one specific person. They're going to have widely different opinions, or could, and that's
Yeah,
okay.
that's what
It's not a big
makes
deal.
that's what makes us the Earth habitable with humans. I mean, if we all have you ever seen the 19 I think it's 87 or 1984, I think 1987 Apple
Oh yeah,
advertisement
yeah,
where it's just
84.
robots. Yeah, 84. We studied it in school, and
I
that's
watched
what
it
it would
live at the Super Bowl.
Did
That's how
you
old I am. But go
really?
ahead. Well, no, I wasn't like live at the Super Bowl. I mean, I was like alive
You saw it.
when it was on TV during the
That
Super Bowl.
ad, if anybody hasn't seen it, watch it. Was like the introduction of the Apple computer, Steve Jobs, and it's brilliant, but it's a room of robots or, it was very, is it Nazi themed or something where everyone
Well, it was
thinks the
supposed to be this
same?
dystopian future where everybody's the same, yes.
Yes. And
And this, like, I don't know, Amazon-esque woman comes through
yeah,
and just smashes everything.
she throws like a dagger or something at the video screen and it just explodes, and then it says, "Introducing the Apple computer," and did it say "Think
It was
different"?
it was yeah, it was the Mac, and it was Think Different.
Yeah, like, because everybody was PC,
Yeah.
Like, who is this rainbow logo Apple? Like, who is this guy? Who does he think he is? It's the same thing with Elon. Who is this guy? Who, like, has an unveiling of a truck, breaks the window, the glass, and, like, makes T-shirts out of it. Official Tesla T-shirts, you know?
Yeah.
Elon, he does.
No, and you know what? You can kinda tell that breaking the window thing kinda hurt him a little bit, but he laughed, and
Yeah.
where I work, like I I don't wanna get into old details, but when I've worked, I've made, mistakes that, weren't going to hurt anybody, but, they might have cost the department a little bit of money on accident. Like, we were filling up a truck with foam once, and we didn't know it was a new truck, and we didn't know that the drain was open, and foam is very quiet when it hits the concrete. So we just filled
Yeah,
it up with like 15 boxes or 5 box bottles of 25 gallons of foam, which is
it's a
not
lot of
cheap.
fun. Did you have a
Yeah,
foam
and
party after that?
we
Sorry.
we didn't. We had a
Oh,
battalion chief yell at us and tell us we were idiots.
oh,
But when we found out why the foam wasn't tank wasn't filling, it was hilarious. It's
yeah.
like
It's
you got
like
to
a
laugh at that stuff.
yeah,
And then,
and
again, the battalion chief was not happy. But
Elon says if you're not failing, then you're not innovating, and he's right.
yeah, I'm innovating constantly if you go by that metric.
Think about boat owners who forget to put the drain plug back in, and they put their boat in the water and it sinks.
Yeah, or they forget to set their parking lot or parking brake, and they just put their brand new pickup truck in the water.
Right? There's tons of fail videos of that here in
Yeah.
Arizona, Lake Pleasant. You should check them out. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Arizona, we might be like the West Coast's Florida in
How
terms.
do you mean?
Well, because there's lots of weird stuff that goes on in Florida. I used to visit when I was a kid, and when people talk about Florida, I'm like, yeah, that sounds right. You just
Yeah.
look up Florida and just weird stuff that goes
Alligators.
on in Florida.
Yeah.
Just people in general. I mean, we're kind of right up there
We're a
in terms
melting
of.
pot of people from all different places. Some natives, but, we come in with our thoughts and values, and
Yeah,
we all just try to coexist, but, you know,
I think by and large, people in Arizona are really nice.
they are. Are you a
So
native?
no, I'm from Alaska.
You are?
Uh huh.
Wow, that's cool. What brought
Yeah.
you to Arizona?
My wife, she got it. Well, my wife and I dated in high school, and then she went to college. So I followed her to go to college, and then when we got married, and she went to more college, and then she got a job, and I just kind of continued to follow her south.
Aw, high school
Yeah.
sweethearts.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cute. What's that like?
Whoa. My wife and I've been together for close to 30 years, 27 years, something like that. Like
Wow.
I've been with my wife longer than people that I work with that are much older than me have been with their spouses.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, no, it's neat. So there's no other person that I want to hang out with for the rest of my
Oh,
life. So, oh no,
oh
we
my
have
god.
problems. Like, don't
Well,
don't want to make it sound
of
like it's
course,
perfect,
but, like,
but
that
no.
statement, like, I want that. I want
Oh,
somebody to say that about me, you know? Like, there's
oh,
no
I
other
irritate
person
the
I
shit out of my. Oh, I shouldn't say that on
well,
this.
I mean,
I irritate the,
I'm a
the
pain in the
crap out
butt
of my wife.
too.
So
Yeah. Who's I'm a pain in the butt, but, like, I you know, most of the time, it'll be entertaining.
yeah, no. There's a lot of laughing, maybe a little bit of crying, but mostly laughing. But yeah,
Should we, continue on with the
I don't know.
notes?
Are you from Arizona? Before we go too far.
I'm from Indiana,
Oh, Indiana.
Midwest. Mhm. People in Arizona call it a flyover state.
Yeah,
I disagree, but that's okay.
I've never been to Indiana, but I've been to the flyover states, and they're pretty amazing. It's amazing how we have different sections of this country, and this is way off the rails. Rat hole is what this episode will be called. But we have different
Good name.
sections of this country that have their own little insulated communities, and yet
Mhm.
somehow we're all able to function or mostly function in as a group. But like
Yeah.
Ohio is completely different than Arizona, for instance, or
Ohio.
even Chicago. I when I was little, we spent some time in Illinois, and then
Mhm.
also uh, Wisconsin. My sister was
Mhm.
born in Wisconsin, but it's a completely different world in those places than it was like when I was in Alaska or now that I'm here or Idaho or Nevada or whatever.
Mhm.
Every state is just completely different than the one before,
Mhm. Yeah.
but it works
Yep.
out somehow.
It sure does. It, brings us differing opinions
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about Sandy Monroe.
Alright, Cindy Monroe, one of my
If
faves.
anybody is curious, this is pretty much how our pre-show went.
Mhm.
Is long discussions. We've been on for hour and 45 minutes together, and I think it's
Whoop,
going
whoop.
very well. All right. So Sandy Monroe spoke at a virtual event for Bernstein Research, which I don't know if that's the financial Bernstein. I would imagine that it is.
Hmm.
The event was private, so the Korea Times somehow obtained a fully edited transcript. I was not able to read the transcript. I don't know if you could find the transcript, uh, but here's
I
what
could
we
Google it.
know
The
based
Googs
on it.
might know.
I went to the article and they didn't even post a link to the transcript in the article, so I don't know if it's supposed to be secret.
I'm
Oh,
assuming it was a video recording that somebody sent to rev.com and had it transcribed. My
oh,
That's my basic assumption,
that's actually, yeah.
which is
I
pretty
didn't.
smart because then you can, you
Yeah, no, Rev's a good resource. So
know.
I'm guessing um, that maybe we can find the transcript. But in any event, there were two statements that he made that made headlines. The first is Sandy Monroe doesn't think that Tesla should make a $25,000 EV. And the second is that Tesla is 10 years ahead of their competitors. So we're going to start with the $25,000 EV and why he doesn't think that's a good idea for Tesla. So he posits that shareholders would regret a more affordable Tesla because it would have a negative impact on Tesla's market positioning and then also their profits because the margins wouldn't be as good. Shareholders wouldn't like it because of potential production complications and low profit margins, which is kind of what we talked about there. And he doubts that Tesla could sell a vehicle under $32,000 that would make a profit.
Hmm.
So and then this last little bit, I want to add something real quick. At one point, when the Model 3 was going through production hell, they talked about how after it was all said and done, they thought the Model 3's cost to build was $29,000. That was what did we say 3 years ago?
Yeah,
So
2017.
so I would guess that they could build a vehicle under $32,000 and still make a profit, just kind of based on that information. But anyway, he went on to say that Tesla owners want all the bells and whistles, and there's um, so much that Tesla, oh, excuse me, he wanted to say that Tesla owners want all the bells and whistles, so much so that they didn't want to sell the standard range Model 3, or they even canceled the standard range Model Y. So, um, and people who can't afford the current range of Tesla products would be more sensitive to things like suspension flaws and quality issues. So now, having said all of that, what are your thoughts on not Tesla not doing a $25,000 car based on this information, or just what are your thoughts in general?
My dream-like thought is, "Please do one. Please make it happen. Do it, please." Uh, that would be amazing. However, $25,000 MSRP. That doesn't include the delivery fee, taxes, registration. And in Arizona, I don't know from your experience, but my registration was $500 for 1 year. Um, so
Yeah.
you have to think about those costs as well. Um, I don't know. That's a very low price. And I do think that they could produce it for, I don't know, especially with the casting machines that are
hmm
in Giga Berlin. Is it Giga Berlin?
there's
How
the rear casting machine at Fremont, but Giga Berlin will have the front and the rear.
But then
That
there's the transportation from Germany to the United States, the shipping and the freight and all of that. So,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
they would end up building it at another location if they did it in the U.S.
Yeah, maybe Austin?
Maybe. Yeah, they
Um,
just bought a bunch more land.
yeah. I think it would be very cool, but I do have concerns because Tesla, in my opinion, is a what Mercedes-Benz used to be, like the luxury, beautiful, and if you drive a Tesla, it's like kind of a kind of a and maybe it's not, but, like, not really a status symbol, but, like, it's a movement. It's a, it's an environmental thing. It's what am I trying to say?
You have cachet if you own a Tesla. Like,
It just
they're still
it
rare enough where people are like, "Ooh, that's a Tesla."
yeah, I mean, Sentry Mode records people that walk by cars, and people will have just film reels of people taking selfies next to it, like, 'cause
Yeah,
it's a Tesla. And I do the same thing. I'm like, "Ooh, yeah." Like, think about when the Cybertruck's released. I
yeah,
mean, I will drive out of my way to come home, put this shirt on, and go stand next to one the first time I see it. Just saying.
yeah,
So, I think that it will open the door to a, um, obviously a much broader market, but then there's, like, people whom, I don't know, will buy their 16-year-olds the $25,000 Tesla. What about charging? If
yeah,
so many more people can afford this vehicle, are is it gonna be are you gonna have to, like, social distance with your car, stand in
right.
a line? There's already trouble charging.
Yeah. No, that's the charging thing I didn't think about, and that's a very valid point because right now, what was it? They sold like 100,000 Model Ys and Model 3s last quarter, and then 139,000 total, something like that.
Yeah, it's a
So
lot.
that's a very valid point, and they are definitely behind on that. On the other side, I and again, I Tesla's stock. I want Tesla to do well as a company, but how their stock does in my personal life or what I want out of the company or want back from the company has very little to do with it. So,
Mhm.
um,
And yeah,
having
I've
said that, there are people who want to own a Tesla. There are people who can't own even a used Tesla
right.
because they're still looking at paying at best maybe you're looking at paying $32,000 for a Model 3, and that would be like an amazing deal.
Yeah,
They're
and
still selling very high.
the used ones are rarely available. They're being purchased by Tesla for autonomous taxis, right?
Yeah,
The autonomous Uber.
and they're being like Nick Howard, who we talked about before, he
Mhm.
had to fly to like was it like Chicago or something like that and drive his back
Yeah, I could
simply
see that.
because it was that was the one he wanted and that's where it was. So he and his dad flew out, they bought it and he drove it home and his dad flew back. Like in a pandemic. Like
Mhm.
I'm sure that and he lives in a relatively populated place and I think it was like North Carolina or something like that. Or Georgia. I think he lives in Georgia. So um yeah, I don't. There's enough demand, but not everybody can do that. And I would like to see everybody who wants a model, whatever it's going to be, a model cheap or affordable. Call it a
I like
model affordable.
yeah, I've heard Model
Um,
2, Model Dos, Model
yeah,
I don't
I
know.
think they're gonna have something more clever than that. But
Oh, come
they, I
on.
think people really want to be a part of it, and if you price them out of that, they can't be a part of it. And then Tesla's mission is to transition the world to sustainable vehicles. You can't transition the world to sustainable vehicles with a $35,000 car. And he mentions in here that Tesla's $35,000 car hasn't done great. And that's because you have to go to a seedy alley in the back of a luxury mall to purchase this thing. Like you can't just buy it online. And I recycled that joke from last episode, so
Okay,
I didn't just
alright,
come up with it off the top of my head. But
okay.
the I want more people to be able to afford EVs, and the only way that they're going to do that is if Tesla pushes. They had to push the luxury market into it. Now they're going to have to push everybody else into it
Yeah,
because even the Kona Electric, I think, is still like forty
it's
thousand
expensive.
dollars. It's
Yeah,
very expensive.
it was out of my price range. I'm a Kona Ice, although I feel shame for it, but Kona Ice driver because that and it wasn't available for sale in Arizona. But
Yeah,
I And then there's the thing about gas stations and the conversion from gasoline pumps to the electrification of those. That might happen quickly. The
It's happening in
infrastructure's in place.
Canada. I think
Is
it's
it?
Petrol Canada. James, I'm sure will correct this, but
Good job, Canada.
yeah,
Yay.
Canada, there's a specific uh, oil company in Canada that's putting chargers, like two, three, four chargers at every gas station that they own,
It's about
or a
time.
lot of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, and they've been doing it for a couple of years, and I only know about this because James at True North EVs tells me this stuff. But
yeah.
yeah,
That's great. And that's when that happens here, which it may already be happening. I don't know. Elon's got lots of tricks up his sleeve, you know? It could be as simple as just battery packs delivered to a gas station until it's completely converted over to electric,
you mean
or
like
maybe they
an
have one diesel, one gas or something.
you mean like Neo? Like, are you familiar with Neo?
No.
Okay, it's an amazing look up on the videos on Neo. They have this little cute little like personal assistant that sits up on your dash and it talks to you
Oh,
and it makes facial expressions. But
oh,
it's a Chinese company.
okay.
Hopefully, they have an office in San Jose. That's
Mhm.
where I think a lot of their tech is written. The underpinnings of the tech is written for that particular car. But they have a battery swap station and they've done over 1 million battery swaps. So you just pull into the little garage, it lifts you, it takes the battery out, puts a new battery in, you're out. It's like
Okay.
5-10 minutes and you're done. And Tesla, I know, tried to do this, but it was painful with the
Yeah.
way they had that set up. So I don't know if with this new battery system that they're talking about, if that would be more of an option.
Well, with the longer range, less stops for charging. That's, number 1. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, in summary, yes, I would love a $25,000 Tesla. I would love that. I hope that
Yeah.
he can roll it out.
Yeah. I would be okay even like if it had 200 miles range, I think that's okay. I think in most people in general, most people just day-to-day driving, that's plenty if they can charge from home or their apartment complex. Because I don't know about you, right? But I can't
Mhm.
think of where a supercharger is next to me. And I keep my eyes open for that stuff all the time. I
Yeah.
know there's one in Wickenburg on the way to like Vegas.
Where are you located?
Tempe, like right
Tempe?
around Rural and Elliott.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I've got one just 5 minutes around the corner. It's the Biltmore or it's
Oh yeah, yeah.
Camelback charger. I,
Yeah.
do lots of appearances there on YouTube.
Yeah. I
I'll
like
go
the
there
Biltmore.
just to just watch people charge because I'm so fascinated. Um,
And the Biltmore is a good example because they have regular chargers
do they?
for yeah, inside the parking garage. They have
Oh,
um, little charging stations, but not for a Tesla. If you
right.
want a Tesla, you got to go outside like an animal. But if you don't mind parking in the
It's
garage,
got solar panels on the roof, and it's, like, beautifully offset. I mean, the setup is amazing, I
yeah.
think.
No, the Biltmore might be the fanciest area inside the city of Phoenix. Like Cave Creek and Paradise Valley and stuff like that destroy in terms of upclassedness, but in Phoenix proper,
Mhm.
the Biltmore might be the nicest area, or in that general touching area.
However, I would like to note that the Camelback Biltmore charger is an urban charger. It's not a supercharger.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
How many of them they have
So,
there? They have like 6 or 7 there, right?
I think 12 or 16,
Yeah,
12,
I
I
know there's
think,
a row right next to the parking garage.
and, um, and I know this specifically because my friend Jay, who's a Model 3 Standard Range Plus owner, was doing an experiment on whether or not the urban chargers share electricity between two vehicles. Spoiler alert, they do. So, and you're charged by kilowatt hour. No, sorry, charging time versus the amount of energy that's delivered. So it's a slower charge. And then if somebody pulls up next to you, or for example, 1A stall and then 1B stall may not be next to one another, but they share a charge. They share electrical current. So it's interesting.
That is interesting. Honestly, I would have thought that that area would have had the best supercharger that you could get.
Right. You would think, and I'm sure that eventually it'll be upgraded, but it
Yeah.
was like they needed a charger there, so they put urban chargers there for now.
Interesting. You know what's
Yeah.
weird is that even in the Kierland Commons, which is also another upscale mall in Arizona and Scottsdale, they don't have superchargers as far as I know.
They're urban chargers, and there's only 8 of them, I
Yeah.
think. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 8.
Yeah.
Which
What's going on with you, Tesla? Like, this is your
it's
wheelhouse.
that parking lot, right across the street, I believe in Scottsdale Quarter, I believe there's superchargers.
Yeah, you know what?
I haven't seen it, but
There might be some inside that. Again, another indoor parking mall or covered parking.
which is not animalistic according to you.
No, no. Like, can you imagine the little old ladies that go to the Biltmore to hang out in the dog park and drink coffee and buy really expensive things? Like that's a walk where
They're
those
not
superchargers
gonna be
are.
driving a Tesla,
I used to work
in
at the
my
Apple store, like, right next to there for, like, a week before they opened up the one on Bell,
opinion.
and those little old ladies would come in and the old men would be like, "I want the best Apple you can get," and you're, like, trying to
Yeah,
get them to, like, an iMac, and they're like, "No, I want that one," and they want the $5,000 Mac Pro, and the
but
cheese grater
yeah,
one, the old one, and
yeah,
because it was, like, a long time ago, and you're just like, "You'll never use any of this." Like, "No,
right,
that's what I
right, right,
want." So you
but,
ship them out the door with a $7,000 computer with a monitor that they'll
I
never
mean,
use.
they worked their whole life and then now they must spend, I guess,
No, I'm just
but
saying, I'm sure some of those people there was an old at the Safeway somewhat close to my house, there was a little lady who, was loading her grandkids into a brand new Model X.
really,
Yeah, and she looked
I
to probably be
guarantee
in her
you,
early 70s, so I shouldn't say little old lady because that's offensive, but she
I
looked to be in her
I'm gonna
early
make a
70s.
I'm gonna make a hasty generalization here.
Yeah,
It was not her car. It was likely the children's parents' car.
I will if I see her
They
again, I'll
picked up
ask
the
her.
kids. Yeah, if you see her again, ask her.
I'm gonna say, "Excuse me, Betty, can you come here for a
Betty,
second?"
Gertrude, excuse me?
Yes,
Is that
Ethelyn,
your
which
Model
was my
X?
grandma's name.
Do you ever make it
Ethelyn.
dance? What was
Yeah,
your grandmother's name?
Ethelyn.
Mine was Evelyn.
Yeah,
Close.
my son's best friend, her name is Evelyn.
Mhm. It's coming back.
Yeah. Did your grandma used to pinch you? Because that's what she does to my son. She pinches him and sometimes hurts him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My whole family did that. I still have chubby cheeks, but they would pinch my cheeks. They'd be bright red. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Abuse. Let's talk about let's talk about production hell.
'Kay.
So Tesla went through production hell with Model Y in 2017, which we have researched live on this show. The issues
Mm,
um, the issues Tesla had getting Model 3 production going, they're well documented, and we're not going to go over that again. But they ended up removing a lot of robots and then adding a lot of the manual workforce back. So Monroe believes that Tesla's vertical integration, which basically means like owning the majority of the supplies and technology that goes in your vehicle. So Tesla's we talked about this a couple weeks ago, or maybe even last week, where Tesla's buying all this stuff to make their own batteries, even their own solutions, their own catalysts, that kind of thing. Um, that's what vertical integration means. So Tesla purchases these companies that build, the robots that build the cars, that kind of thing. So he thinks that that is critical and puts Tesla 10 years ahead of other auto manufacturers. Now, I'm going to try and read his quote here.
You're
So,
talking about Sandy, right?
Sandy's quote, yes.
Okay.
And we'll see how this goes. So what Tesla's done is cranked up its oof. Let me start again. So what Tesla's done is it's cranked out a product that's probably 90 to 95% there. I would agree with that. But they've got so many ways of investigating what's going on in each car all the time that the feedback can say, hey, what we should do is X. Let's make that engineering change and implement it in vehicles from here going forward. That's why vertical integration is preferred in this situation. So I'm not going to read the rest of the quote because I don't know if anything else goes on there. But I do think that Tesla is 90 to 95% of the way there. I do think that extra 5 to 10% is going to be not only critical, but extraordinarily difficult for them to achieve. Not because Tesla's not capable, but because the last 5 to 10% of anything is generally the hardest part if you're trying to succeed. And the goalpost keeps moving too as you come up with
Mhm.
new ways to improve it. That's great. And then while you're researching that, you find out something that's even better, and that's now 10 to 15% away. So that the goalpost keeps moving. So, what are your
Mhm.
thoughts on production hell and Tesla being ahead of its competitors?
I I mean, there's no question about it being ahead of its competitors. I'd say even more than 10 years, but, um, if I depending on, patents and if other vehicle manufacturers are able to not reinvent the wheel-ish, legally, right, then maybe 10 years is good, but Uh, I would say the quality assurance, quality control, QA/QC right now is to be expected at the level of that it is. I've had people on YouTube or on Twitter comment on my Tesla posts, or videos and say, "I would love to buy a Tesla, but" it's like, "But what?" Quality control or and okay, yeah, it's not a perfect vehicle, but neither is a Volkswagen Jetta or
Mm-mm.
my Hyundai Kona or, you know, which is fine. Trying to think.
While you're thinking, I go back all the time. Like, I have never bought a car from a dealership that I didn't have to take it back to get
Yeah,
something fixed on it,
yeah,
ever.
yeah. It's a vehicle, an automobile is designed to appeal to a broad range of people, lifestyles, that kind of thing. They're not designing it for Bodie or Jessica, you know?
Hmm.
So there's going to be a 5, 10%, 15, 20, 30%, I feel, I feel that they're cranking cars out, which is exactly what I feel the shareholders expect. Elon has made
Yeah.
promises. They need to deliver, that he can't not deliver. He can't not deliver that. But upon probably the Cybertruck release, I feel that they might take a step back because they've done so much in 10 years. Think about it. We're 2020. Was the Model S really released in 2012?
I think it was 2010 that the model. I
Was it
think 2010
unveiled?
is when the Roadster was released.
Oh, the Roadster, that's right.
So even, but yeah, no,
I
you have
mean,
a very good point of how far they went from a car that I wouldn't say was barely functioning, but
but it was. expensive,
Yes.
and it was, you know, not great with battery and range and recharge, and, but
Yeah.
now that very first production vehicle is in space. You know what I mean? Like, who would have thought when the Roadster was released that, you know, fast forward 10 years and then there'd be one floating in space. Like, oh, it's just a, it's just a that was prototype, Elon's personal vehicle. Um, I think that they are moving so fast and acquiring all of these companies, battery companies, lithium mining companies. Just it, they, as with any company, you scramble in the beginning, you scramble, and hurry up and wait. And now they're meeting production. They are delivering on their promises. So they have the Cybertruck and the Semi to produce and the ATV, right?
Oh,
Um,
ATV.
but I think that, in my opinion, that in between the Cybertruck and the Semi release, I feel like they're good for a long time. Even if the Model 2 or Model Dos or Model Cheap isn't produced or designed or right away, like, they're good. Sexy cars. It's already been spelled out. What are they gonna do? An exclamation point?
Oh, maybe. Oh, I think you may have hit on it.
Just saying.
It's
An
it's the
an
model
airplane is
exclamation.
what I'm hoping for, an electric aircraft. And Elon said, "Maybe I'll design one," on Twitter, like, a couple weeks ago, and I
Mhm.
just jumped on it. He loves jets.
Yeah. Okay. So I looked it up while you were talking, and it was the
Mhm.
Roadster came out in 2008, and I think you're right. The Model Y or Model S came out in 2012. So
Okay.
if you look at the Roadster, which it was zero in 2008, it was 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. If
That's
you got the high
insane.
end one, yeah, uh, that's
I
their
mean,
first car. And then the
that
2012, the Model S, the technology was significantly better than the thing that came out in the Tesla Roadster.
day and night. Yeah. What is that? 5 years, right?
Yeah,
5? Yeah.
4,
No, 4
4-ish.
years. Um, the Roadster was unveiled. It started taking orders or it was delivered?
It was delivered in 2008, and they delivered them all the way up to 2012, which I'm guessing
And there
they
were
probably
how
were.
many? 250? Or how many
How
were there?
Oh, you
1,000?
want how many?
2,500.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Close.
Mm. I bet you they'll sell more of the new Roadster by far than
Oh, yeah.
this thing.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean that
It
you're right in the breakneck speed that they've had to go to get to this point. It's probably okay if they take a breath. I
yeah.
mean, we talked a little bit about Nikola Motors, but like they kept announcing more and more and more things. I'm like, dude, just do one thing
Just
and get it
stop.
done.
Just yeah,
One thing, do it
focus.
really well.
Just do it. Just
Yeah.
just do one thing,
And have
you
all
know?
these things planned for the future, but produce one thing first. And
One.
you
Yeah,
can still work on that stuff in the background, but
yeah.
yeah.
Hype.
Yeah.
Build up.
Lots of hype. I still want that company to succeed because I know, well, no is a strong word. I've talked to several people that, not Trevor, but I talked to several people that worked for the company, and they are wonderful, very nice people, and I don't want to see anybody
Oh,
lose
yeah.
their job or their stock because these
Right.
people were promised something. I want them to get that promise fulfilled for sure.
I
But
definitely don't wanna see anybody lose money or their job. However,
go on.
anybody that works for Nikola, in my opinion, will be hired somewhere else immediately. My
Yeah,
opinion. I
possibly
I don't wanna
GM.
Oh gosh. Do you think that that's gonna continue? You think it's gonna go through?
You know what? If they have a solid, see the Diesel brothers or whatever those guys are. I don't
Mm,
have anything specifically against them, but I'm not a fan of their page, I guess. So,
mhm.
or I'm not a fan of the way they do things, and I don't have any specific reason why. It's just that doesn't hit for
They
me.
just rub you the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate them, but I just doesn't hit
No.
the right way for me. But when it was announced that they were partnering with them, I was like, okay, well, in one way, I'm not super excited about that, but in another way, those guys do know what they're doing. Like they got into some trouble with like illegally modifying some vehicles, I guess. And if I'm
Are we
getting
talking Nikola or
the diesel guys,
brothers?
I can't remember what their YouTube thing is called. But and if I'm confusing them with somebody else that does something similar, then please let me know. But so just in general, it's like that partnership could have probably been better. But the Nikola Badger, the whole idea of the Nikola Badger, I think is a good idea. The problem with producing hydrogen is right now you have to get it from natural gas, which means if you want it in any sort of volume, which means that it's terrible for the environment. But if you can break it from water, then which is way less
Oh,
yield and way more energy consumption, if you can use renewable energy and break it from water, then you're in good shape. And right now we're just not in that place where we can do that yet. But I don't think it'll be too far before we are. And Nikola's not the only one working on hydrogen semi trucks either.
I'm gonna politely disagree with your
Oh,
know that? I politely disagree with, the concept of breaking it from water only because water is such a precious resource, especially in Arizona where where their factory is being built. Um, but yeah, the energy required is tremendous, and the storage required on-site at one hydrogen refueling station, which they don't have any except for at the headquarters, but it is still not they don't have the equipment there to create the hydrogen, um, as far
and
as what I've read.
they bought one, maybe I want to say one or four. I can't remember exactly. They bought this big, giant, really expensive machine to be able to break hydrogen away from water. And you're 100% correct. Like water is a resource that we definitely need, and they need to have some sort of like instead of letting that water after it's been converted from hydrogen to water, we need something other than just letting it roll out the tailpipe. That's not a very good solution. There needs to be some way of recollecting that water. I don't know exactly how you would do that, but recollecting
Mhm.
the water, and maybe when you fill up the next time, it takes the water out, puts the new hydrogen in. I don't know how exactly how that whole thing would go, but that's a very valid point. And Nikola, I'm not specifically not specific to them so much, is just in general I'm pro more technology out there, even if it only
Oh,
works
yeah,
to a certain level. Like at some point, maybe 15 years down the road, somebody will take that research and build something better, and that's really what it comes
absolutely.
down to.
I completely agree with that. Yes.
Yeah, but you're right, the whole storage thing with hydrogen, even if you generate it on site, is it's you lose. I did a series of episodes on this, but you lose so much hydrogen getting it from breaking it away from the water and then storing it, and then you lose it
Mm,
storing it to getting it to the car, and then you lose it when it's in the car to transmission, to transition to over that catalyst into fuel and then to turn it into water. It's like it's significant every step, and they need to fix those that inefficiencies those
mhm.
inefficiencies.
I do think as an alternative to battery electric vehicles, I think it's great, for semis, for long distance driving. Isn't it supposed to be better or more efficient?
Well, I think it
I don't know
depends
much about
on
the technology.
how they do it. If you use it for straight up, like Toyota has some straight up hydrogen cars. I don't know that they have a battery, and if they do, maybe it's very small. I
Mhm.
think what Nikola wanted to do was it had the hydrogen powered a generator which charged the batteries. So it kind of had more
Mm.
of a hybrid. Now I could be wrong on that, and I might be mistaken, but I think that's what
Nope.
their initial plan was to use that generator to charge the batteries to keep it going for longer.
Hmm. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. That would be why it's called a bat hydrogen-powered battery fuel
Oh my gosh, there's so many acronyms out there right now.
H
I actually
HBEV, HPF. I have to look it up almost every time.
no, I'm gonna send you a link because Kyle Field of Clean Technica just
Thank you, Kyle Field.
he just posted like here's all the things that you need to know. Here's all the acronyms basically.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
because I have to look it up too. Like you would think you would know what a BEV is, but I'm like I don't know what a BEV is.
No, I'm like a beverage? Who's talking
Yeah,
about beverages here, you know? Like,
yeah. No, we have
battery
BevMo.
electric
Is that what you
vehicle.
mean, BevMo?
BevMo. Yeah, that's another one.
Let me see if I can find it here because I just saw it this morning. Okay, so I'm going to send it. It's make sure if I'm going to credit somebody. Ah, um, remember how I told you if I can't say somebody's name, I just don't. I'm going to try to pronounce this.
Go for it.
Martin
Martine.
Vinkhuizen. Huizen.
Pfannkuchen.
I'm going to put it in
Poison.
the chat, and then you can give it a try.
I'll give it a go. Thank you, Clean Technica. Yeah, Martin Vinkhusen. Vinkhusen. Martin Vinkhusen. Please correct us.
Okay. Okay. You want to hear what Martine's profile says?
What?
We are way off the rails. Okay. Martin Vinkhusen, grumpy old man. The best
Oh,
thing I
yeah.
did with my life was raising 2 kids. Only finished primary school, but when you don't go to school, you have lots of time to read.
That's right.
I switched from accounting software development and ended my career as a systems integrator and architect. My 2007 boss got two electric Lotus Elise transportation, and I have been looking to replace my diesel cars with electric vehicles ever since. And putting my money where my mouth is, I've bought Tesla shares and intend to keep up with them until I can trade them in for a Tesla car.
That's what a lot of people are doing.
So I'm a fan of Martine.
Good man. Thank you, Martine.
I'll put this article in the show notes if anybody else wants to read about all of the different abbreviations that are out there, or not abbreviations, acronyms.
Acronyms. We've got FFV, ICE, ICE-V, HEV, FEV, BEV, PEV, HFS, A segment, B segment, C segment, D segment, E segment, F segment. And that's the end.
Yeah. So a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle is an HSCV. I don't know if that includes. Does that include the battery on that one?
HSCV. S? F.
It's at the end of that vehicle powertrain section before the classifications.
Oh, yeah. Hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. High frequency capacitance voltage. What?
Yeah. No, it's easy to get the whole acronym jumble. It's easy to get confused in this whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about India. Speaking
Let's
about
talk
confusion, you
about
ever been
India.
to India?
I have not, and I would like to visit India.
It's one of the places. Like New Zealand is the next out of the country travel that we do. Hopefully,
Mhm.
if I can get my wife to agree, we have to go to Italy because we're 25 years. We're going to go back for our 25th anniversary, but it was supposed to be this year, but pandemic. But
Pandemic. Yep.
New
That
Zealand
that
and
COVID.
and India are on my list because, first of all, I love Indian food. I met several Indian people in my life, and they are the most hospitable group of folks,
Yes.
and just the culture and all that stuff. But Tesla Club IN, which I'm going to guess it stands for India, that Twitter
Mhm.
account asked
Yep.
Elon on Twitter if Tesla employees were working toward entering the Indian market. If so, is there a way for us reservation holders to contact them? Which I don't, there's no reservation holders as of yet, but our Tesla
Hmm.
accounts do not have any customer care details as we are unable to select India as a country option. So maybe they are just reservation holders in different countries. For someone to actually purchase a Tesla and import it to India, the taxes and fees would double the price of the car, which is
Mhm.
nuts.
Mhm.
And that doesn't include actually shipping the car. So that's just a really expensive proposition. So Elon responded on Twitter that Tesla will release the online configurator probably in January. So I think that Tesla's got, or not actually Tesla, India has the second highest population out of any other country in the world, second only to China. So
Yeah.
this is obviously a place where Tesla wants to operate, and it's an emerging market on top of all that other stuff. What are your thoughts?
It's well, fun fact. Actually, I googled this and then I closed it. The population of India as of 2018. No, I went 2020. 1.38 billion people. Billion. Billion people. That's a lot of people.
Yeah,
Second to China. I mean, what? That's a lot of drivers. I I just yeah. What are my thoughts? I think that the import taxes, duties, fees, obviously they'll have to work that out because that's not practical. I was honestly surprised, to be honest. Where did you go? I lost you.
right here.
There you
Hello.
are. Okay.
Okay.
Too many tabs open. I was surprised before jumping on Twitter this morning or yesterday. Tesla India came up. Um, well, no, I clicked on the links you sent over, and I was surprised that it wasn't existing, that they weren't for sale there yet. So, um, I yeah, I are there other enormous countries where, Tesla is not for sale
Well,
yet that we
India
know
actually
of?
has a really interesting approach to foreign companies that are doing business in India.
Hmm,
They have to have the product to get around these fees. The product needs to be manufactured in India, and then a certain percentage of that product needs to come from Indian parts.
smart.
And I know that India is currently they're courting Tesla. I think um, Mumbai is where they would like them to set up operations, but I could be wrong
No, that sounds
on their
great.
location. So I'm sure this whole thing will be worked out. One of the things, and I don't know, like I know some things about India, but I don't know anything about India. Let's throw that out there. I did have an Indian coworker once, and his job was to go around to estates, basically in the rural, or even
Mhm,
just random places, houses. But he was basically like a tax assessor.
mhm.
And there were times when like he would have to use like off-road vehicles to get to certain locations and things like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, or boats for that matter. And he could never
yeah.
you know, he would
I
show
believe
up and they would always have like everything laid out for him because he could never sneak up on them because he
Oh,
was constant like people knew he was in the area. Just the everything traveled very quick. News traveled very quick. So everything that he was
interesting.
supposed to be assessing that would make be expensive was typically out of sight. But
Huh,
according to him, but one of
that's
the things that's really interesting is that if Tesla goes this route, what kind of vehicles might they sell just in India versus, because I mean, you can't have a model, or you could, a Model S in some big city like Mumbai might be impractical because of traffic and the size of the vehicle and where you're going to park it. I
I mean,
know I've
there's
been
so
to Bangkok several times, and Bangkok is, I wouldn't want to drive a Model S in Bangkok. I wouldn't want to try and park a Model S in Bangkok. Let's put it that way.
uh, I could see I just Googled what's one of the most popular cars in India, and who knows, whoever has the best Google ratings, right?
Hmm.
Um, a Kia Sonnet, Toyota Urban Cruiser, a Maserati, which looks like a
A little pickup
Kia,
truck.
like a is it a pickup truck? Suzuki. It's made by Suzuki.
Oh, okay.
They're all very small, and then a minivan,
Oh, yeah.
lots of hatchbacks, small
In-
crossover vehicles, and then there's a pickup truck. Um, I could see with the population that it is, there being something similar to what China does, as far as I know. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, no, I
That
know
there
nothing.
be a lottery for the ability to purchase and drive a vehicle. It's
Hmm.
a lottery system because there's the population is enormous. I could see ride sharing being really big there if they don't have it already. Um, that would probably be a really great market for Tesla. Uh, Turo, I don't know much about the company here in the United States other than I Googled rent a Tesla for a day or rent a Tesla, and Turo is the company that came up.
I
It's
rented a Model S off Turo.
There we go. It's personal, like it's somebody's personal vehicle rented to you for a day or however long. And I could see that kind of being a thing, like a ride, like timeshare, like
Hmm.
Model S divided by 10 people. You can use it this day and this day or something like that.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts.
You know what? I have to take it back because now that I'm looking at this, there are a lot of large SUVs that are being sold in India, according to this car and bike website that I think
Just
we're both on.
remember, whoever pays the Googles
Yes.
gets the Googles.
Yeah, yeah,
But
no.
yes,
You're 100% correct. But in general, like I don't have any reason, none of this looks like it's too outside of the what would be considered the norm, and there's, I mean, these are full-size vehicles, so it would,
yeah.
in either case, I'd like to see what they're thinking in terms of design for India.
Yeah. Um, China, they Teslas are they're available for sale, right? Now in
Hmm.
China with
So
Shanghai?
the Model Y is just soon to go into production in China.
Yeah, so whatever they're doing,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Good question, though.
I do know that uh, i- in these large uh, populated areas, anytime that we can get uh, rid of an ICE vehicle and replace it with a electric vehicle to help with the pollution, it's a win
Yes. Huge
for
win.
sure.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
Completely agree.
so Jessica Kirsh, without a C, thank you very much for being on the show. Thank you very
Yeah.
much for, I mean, we've literally sat here and talked for 2.5 hours, only an hour and a half on the actual show, but, and five, I thought maybe five articles would be too little, but no.
Thank you for having me on. It's been such a pleasure.
Yes.
And
Would you like to, and we should have done this maybe at the beginning, would you like to kind of tell people what you do and where to find you?
yeah, I would love to. I am on my primary outlet is YouTube. So I do a lot of videos on electric vehicles. SpaceX is near and dear to my heart. Tesla, other companies as well, Lucid, now Solo. I also do a lot of other shenanigans on my channel. So I encourage you to stop by, check it out. It is youtube.com/Jessica Kirsh, JESSICAKIRSH, JESSICAKIRSH. Head over there, hit the subscribe button, punch it, kick it, lick it if you want, whatever you want to do. You can always unsubscribe at a later date. It doesn't cost anything. I'm also on Twitter. And on Twitter, which is where we met, is at Jessica_Kirsh. And my last name is KIRSH. There's no C in it. Don't be tempted.
Yes. So I am going to go to your site. I am going to, I don't know if I subscribed or not. I'm going to do it right now. And
Thank you.
I'm going to also, there's a section in the show notes, which are meticulous, I have to say.
That's cool.
My own little brag. Oh, why did it go there?
Somebody
anyway,
has to,
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody appreciates or looks at the show notes, but I try very hard to keep them organized.
They're very helpful for me. I'm reading them right now.
So I subscribed. And
thank you.
Yeah, there's a friends section or friends of the show. I can't remember exactly how we put it in there, but I'll put your link in there so people can just go to the show notes and then click on your link. And then that way they can get directly to your YouTube channel.
That sounds great. And we can discuss this later, but I would love to be able to post this on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you're open.
I am totally open to it. It doesn't record any of the video.
Oh, it doesn't? I've got it recording on my end, I think. Yeah, it's still recording.
Okay. Yeah.
So we can discuss it.
If you would like to do that, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, cool.
So, excellent. Well, thank you very much for being on the show, and maybe you'll come back again sometime.
I would love to.
We maybe just limit it to one topic. I think we might be chatterboxes.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
For sure. All right. Thank you, Jessica.
All right. Take care.
Okay. All right. And we'll stop recording.